Going to South Florida?
Wait. I hit the live button. We're live. We're live. Wait a minute. Let me do this. We'll fuck with everybody. We'll fuck with everybody. That's right. I said it twice already. So
can you prove
that kind of show. Howdy, everybody, and welcome to We Are The Anomaly, and it's kind of open season. There's a lot of issues that we were talking about and thinking about. There's a couple more people that were invited. Hopefully they'll show up. Dan from used to be Drone Worship, now it's I Fix Shit, and Jim from over at Above and Beyond Drones. Hopefully they'll get in here, because I was just talking about how there's 2 Florida drone meetups. And I was really wanting Jim to talk about the other one as well. I know Mike knows Johnny and him pretty well, so he could be talking about that. Dan's hitting me with the message. Wait a minute. What's this? Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. Wrong button. Sorry. Sorry, Dan. I gave him the wrong invite. Hang on. This one. He's like, what the fuck are you doing?
He's going to give you hell now.
Oh, of course he is, man.
Don't mess with him, Bill.
No, I already told you earlier. I was like, you're going to give me shit anyway because I sold all my stuff and bought the Mavic 3.
He gives everybody credit.
So he sent me this t-shirt.
That's just who he is.
He sent me this t-shirt. He sent me this link to this t-shirt that told me I was an idiot. Sorry. Anyway, I resent it to him. He's like, Frrr. So yeah, he's definitely going to flame me. Let me go back up here. Joan Shots, Jody was here. Akira's show, he said his mom said his nickname was an anomaly. And my reply was, so if your mom tells you was a mistake, is that the same thing? Thank you, Matt Bagwell, for loving the trailer. I enjoyed making it. And yes, I was talking about asking for one of the guys on one of my wife's reality show. It's called The Family Chantel because his mommy just told him he was a mistake. Suspicious typo. Hello, Steve. Hello, Leonard. Hello, Old Farts with Drones.
Wow.
Grumpy Vlog. Good to see you, sir. Jim's droning. Good to see you. No. Let's see. Matt Bagwell.
Eddie.
Flying John. Good to see you. Did I miss anybody? You see anybody I missed?
So
there's only like 4 or 5 of us here anyway.
Charles. Hello, Charles.
Oh, Charles Galuski. Good to see you too. Ken, good to see you. Ken's here
Kenny.
too. Also. Ken was here earlier, and I just missed him. And there's your brother, Sergio. There's Sergio.
Sergio ain't a pirate no more.
Oh, okay, cool. Rod's just giving me the link, and I can actually bring it up over here. Okay, so what do you all think about? We were talking about remote ID before we went live, and you all said that Kai, you tell them what you said, what your theory was because of what's going on with the.
Well, it's not necessarily my theory. It's some extra come up with, and I kind of have to agree with them that if they don't get their way with remote ID the way it is, they don't just play the national security card and shut us all down.
Yeah.
But because now it looks like it may go sideways because of what came out of the discussion in that hearing, right? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
Because I really, truthfully, I don't see there. I put the link in for the it says old guy in a drone.com meetup, and it'll give you the Space Coast drone meetup.
Yeah. Give them the other link. It's just a DNS entry that bounces to the site.
What other link am I giving them?
That one that I put in the private chat.
That's one I hit.
Yeah. I'm saying when you post it in the chat to show them, give them that link, not the one that you went to.
That one. Gotcha.
Yeah, that one takes them to the one that you're staring at.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right, good. So, let's see. Let me see what we got here. Steve, good to see you, Steve. Hey, Jim, good to see you. Hey, Art, how you doing? Good to see you, Ed. Ed, good to see you in the house. Good to have you. Drone new visuals. Good to see you. Charles. Okay, so do you all think they're going to play the national security card? Do you think we're going to that basically, wait a minute.
Well, they already are.
Look what Akira Show's saying. He's
Yeah.
agreeing completely.
Yeah.
The magic kill switch.
Federal Trade Commission just put them on another freaking blacklist. The entity list are already on.
Yeah. Let's back
They're
up
fixing
once.
to get on the covered list. Now DJI, they're
Yeah, but let's back up for a second. That is different than whether the FAA shuts down everybody. That's a DJI thing versus all the other drones.
I get that, but all of those instances, the reasoning is always national security. National security is one of those fields that you can argue against.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So backing up to the RDQ case, if you listen to the oral arguments, one of the judges basically kind of tipped their hands probably to what's going to ultimately throw it sideways. Yeah. And his answer,
you can't apply the rules 100% to
right.
all people.
That if it's an unconstitutional 1%, which is exactly what he said. If it's 1%, then if 1% of it is unconstitutional, which is the way that he said it, then the whole thing is unconstitutional. So that pretty well tips the hand to the reality of how the judges are probably going to end up coming down on this thing. So it is going to cause some headaches. As I was talking about, honestly, in thinking about what they're trying to protect, right, which is the whole national security issue, I'd kind of thought of an idea that really makes way too much sense that would kind of potentially solve both sides' problems. And that is, instead of having remote ID on the drones, you configure the drones so that they can receive a signal that only obviously the government agencies would have, that would cause return to home of the drone. That way, if the drone got anywhere near something that was supposed to be protected, the authorities could essentially shoo it off and send the thing back to home. And well, if they wanted to find out who it is, follow the drone home. But that would solve the security issue, because then, from a consumer drone perspective, like the guys trying to fly over football stadiums. Hello,
I wonder if I'll get busted for that.
They could literally put antennas around the stadium that was broadcasting that thing that would cause the drones to return to home, right? So you sort of solve the security issue piece there. And then the other piece of that is it solves the pilot side of us not broadcasting our personal stuff and where we're standing and that kind of stuff.
They're going to think it's reasonable for every major league football, baseball, whatever team, they have to refit their stadiums with some sort of technology.
They're doing it now. They're building the guns. They're building the guns to bring drones down now. So why not just freaking build something that is in all of them, so that they don't have to build these stupid specialized things for consumer drones, right? Just make all consumer drones, listen on some whatever, and give the authorities the ability to auto trigger return to home. And that kind of solves both sides.
Wait. Uno!
Since most of the transmission are shielded in some way or another, I mean, you can't have two controllers on one drone. How are you going to have...
Well, they were going to put a module on there. They were going to put a module on there anyway, so there's no reason they could have put a module that's listening for a specific frequency that would be listening for that trigger code.
But
it's not really that hard. Not really that hard to implement. That's the other part.
If they play the national security card, and I asked Kai, I said, okay, fine, but isn't that going to knock commercial drones out of the sky? At which point he replied, no, they'll just pay for expensive ass permits, which is also what DJI is thinking about marketing that dongle for. They're talking about letting that 5G go to commercial drones with a license and a permit. So that's because, beyond line to sight, all that shit. So it'd be good to go.
Well, the NAFI AI is already on the 4G network. It's already out there.
So to your
get it.
point, Kai,
We're gonna
about
get it right up here. We're gonna get it right up here, dude.
On the whole government thing. So an article came out today on Drone DJ that in the state of Florida, government agencies can no longer use DJI equipment, and if they have
In
it,
Florida,
then if they have it, then they have to submit a reason why they need to keep it versus replacing it with something else. So this is probably the beginning of states implementing the same thing that the federal government.
That's
So I wonder why.
But that's only for the government agencies, right? This is not consumer pilots things.
Yeah, and I mean it's already like that for federal agencies, and now we're trickling down to state and local agencies.
So the reality is the small drone resellers, at least in the state of Florida, are probably going to get hit pretty bad because they all make a pretty big penny on selling to the enterprise and especially to government agencies in the enterprise. So those guys are all going to take a financial hit with this in Florida.
Yeah. Well, they're all going to start selling knifes.
Because they can't sell to the police and the fire department and search and rescue, and they literally will not be able to sell to them.
Yeah, they won't
DJI
be able to
equipment.
sell any DJI products to them.
Yep,
they
they'll
will
have
be
to
able
switch.
to sell Autel. They will be able to sell Parrot,
Skydio, any of it's on the SUAS.
So look what Ed
Blue
said
program
from Love My Drone.
There's others out there, and on Knifey's specifically gearing their stuff toward local and federal governments. When they created the Knifey USA, when they created the Knifey AI, the Knifey AI is a long range inspection drone. It's meant to go down power lines of 25 miles.
But Ed's got a point here. How are they going to claim, that it's national security for something like this?
I have that. I have that answer, Bill.
Go ahead.
The counterpoint to this, and it's. I've said it a few times, and I think people have ignored me about what the security issue is around drones, and this is true of any drone. In fact, there was an article I think a couple of weeks ago, but the reality is you can take a small drone and fly it into, say, one of those substations, electrical grids, and fry something and turn the power off with just a little ass drone and take out the power in an entire grid. So even though these things are lightweight, those batteries are lipo. So imagine if you change the firmware around or tweaked with the software to cause that lipo battery to overheat, and you park that drone on top of something. There's a real freaking security risk to these things.
All you have to do is
set my new hat.
I like those stickers.
Send it under the drone.
Did you give me your address? Put your address. Send me your address in Facebook, and I'll mail something.
Okay.
So anyways, that's kind of the counterpoint to Ed's point. Ed's point
is for your car,
but little drones are still potentially deadly.
Oh, Bill, I need those stickers for the table here.
Got to go on that collection.
Got to go on the table.
I'm trying to remember. I don't know if I sent you out a second one or not. But this one. They were supposed to have like a white frost around them so that the black stood out, but instead they just completely eliminated the white. And so it's, if you put it on a black case, it disappears. But anyway, you can put it like on your window, and it shows up like on your car window, or something.
That's like a clear sticker then, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Bingo.
Hey, Jim.
And here's Jim to talk about the other Florida drone meetup.
Hey, I had to run away for a few seconds while you were talking about the national security card. They're making it in Florida on January 1st. The legislature is deciding whether any of its agencies here can use DJI drones. Man, they are putting. I think Rod, we talked about this, didn't they?
Yeah. I just had this conversation about that article, and as I was saying, all the small drone resellers who make their money on selling to the fire departments and police here in
Right.
Florida are
Right.
all going to take a financial hit for sure with that change.
They
Hippie
all own
New Year.
DJ.
Happy New Year.
Hippie New Year.
That's a lot of money being thrown away if they decide to do something that's stupid. Because
It's
let me
already
tell you
done. It's
something.
already done.
We've been doing this since 2015. If everybody hasn't mapped out America, and China has their own Beidou satellites flying over the United States, for God's sakes, unless you're doing Ronald Reagan's Star Wars and taking down the Beidou satellites, they're seeing us anyway, right? Look at Google Earth.
Oh, wait a minute. I thought you said you weren't going to be available tonight. I'll give you a link if you want one, Brian.
No, Brian, I didn't get the PC. They gave me an email saying it's delayed and it's coming tomorrow. Bill, I showed you that PC, right? I finally found an NVIDIA 3080 card.
You were talking about it on your show, and I was watching when you all were talking about it, and you and Rod were. Everybody was getting really, really in depth, and everybody was talking about, the cards and this, that, and the other.
Because I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot, and I'll destroy it. I'll do something wrong. Put the RAM in because I have to upgrade the RAM. It's only coming with 16, guys. So I don't want to, screw it up somehow.
Were you expecting an argument on the idiot part, or
not at all? Not
Okay.
at all. I
It's
freely
just
Black Diamond.
I freely admit.
Oh, I was looking. I got a weird phone call from Black Diamond, Washington. Never heard of it before. Kind of took me back.
What was it?
That's
What?
the
Okay.
FAA field office.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Kai, the next date I would probably expect would be yours
Yeah.
to do something similar.
Well, we were talking about
Because
that
Texas
too,
tends to do things ahead of everybody else.
Michigan. I saw.
There was no veiled comment there whatsoever, was there? Texas tends to do things a bit before everybody else.
Yeah, I like Akarishima's comment.
Yeah, so
Which
do
one?
I.
This one?
Yeah.
China want to know about your house because I got a new roof.
They can't pass on that little nugget.
Okay, cool.
No, but I mean, isn't it like closing the door, closing the barn after the horse is already out? That kind of thing.
So I forget who I was explaining this to, and I don't know if it was Gemini or Bill and I,
or up and sent his link to his channel,
or maybe Ron Brown. I spent the last 5 years of my military career on the CERT team doing security evaluations and all that kind of stuff. So there's, the argument that I've heard, well, the software has been looked at and there's nothing in there, right?
Right.
Agreed. But the problem is not just what's there now, but it's also about process and who owns it. So part of the security risk, and this is not just DJI, is the fact that because it's in China, companies over there do not have the ability to say no to the government. The government will come in and shut them down. Hello, last September they made a billionaire over there disappear for about 6 months. He literally just disappeared and then showed up one day. So the security risk is that the Chinese Nationalist Party can come in and tell DJI, go shove this code into your application and push it. And DJI cannot say no.
Right.
And that's where the security risk is, that the Chinese government can come in and literally make them put something in there that could be deadly dangerous. And they can't say no. You know why they can't say no? Did everybody see that article about a week ago where Apple, Tim Cook, signed a $275 billion deal with the Chinese government to
Actually, no, I
invest
didn't see that. No.
to invest over there so that they would get
I've never
the
done
regulators off their back?
Let's see.
Which also brings us to the FTC saying you can't now invest in DJI anymore.
Correct.
I've never done this before.
So this is not. It's not just about DJI. It's
Right.
about the ongoing economic war between China and us.
Absolutely.
But the security risk is 100% real because of their government and the processes and the way everything works over there.
Here's your little excerpt of the FCC newsletter when DJI got put on the blacklist, investment blacklist. And that's
Right.
that Commissioner Carr going at it again. And adds urgency to my call for national security agencies to provide their views, adding DJI to the FCC's covered list. They've got it in for them.
Now, why aren't they doing this with Altel and the other companies?
I love that one, man.
I don't know, because they're all Chinese.
You get one for that one. I love this. Wait a minute. Did y'all see this?
Order code on a regular basis.
No, because of the trailer. Remember the trailer to this show? The Matrix trailer? Okay.
Yeah.
We ordered the code on a regular basis.
So, Bill.
So we're a modal. We're a modal right now. Hey, Brian, you want to come on and show everybody the V-copter?
I sent you a link. You can pull that up.
Okay.
So they're on the entity list. They're on the FTC no trade list, and the FCC is looking at them now.
So, Jim, to your question,
Yeah,
about why DJI, which one of the drone manufacturers over there does the most business with the Chinese military?
Oh, this is the
There's
same
an easy
one.
answer to that.
We've already
DJI.
And I'm going to give you the same. I'm going to give you the same counterpoint.
Yeah, that's
Why?
okay. Go for
if
it, Bill.
You're going to spy, and everybody on the other country that's watching you spy is suspicious of that company. Are you not going to attempt to put other spy technology in other drones which you have infinite control over?
Right, but as my counter argument to that was, that's all nice and dandy, but like 70-80% of the drones that are actually deployed are all DJI right now. So that's why and where them.
I totally get that the majority,
and it will be the next company if we think that there's another company that is dealing with the Chinese military, they will get the same treatment. I guarantee it.
The part of the reason that Altel is not getting the same kind of parts that DJI is because DJI is a drone manufacturer. Altel is an automotive manufacturer.
True.
And a drone toy manufacturer in their eyes. So it's not their foremost thing to do.
Well, you got to look at Unique, Parrot, and Skydio all gave up on us, the consumer drone people. They've all gone industrial.
So anyways, there's that article about Apple and the fact that Apple signed that $275 billion deal to placate the Chinese government. So if Apple is signing a deal to do that, what do you think DJI is doing? DJI is doing whatever the hell the Chinese government tells them to do.
Okay,
DJI is a drop in the bucket compared to Apple.
Where are all the precious materials needed to manufacture silicon chips and everything at? Where's the biggest bulk of those materials needed at? Where is it?
Don't tell me Afghanistan mining, because we just gave that away.
No, I'm going to say China, because they sitting right on top of all of it.
Some of the rare earth stuff, that is true. They're actually looking in the Rockies for some of the stuff that China has. Australia potentially has some of it too, and they have a big mining industry. But ironically, the biggest thing is the actual silicate, the sand itself.
Yeah, this one.
I didn't see it till just now, Kai. Sorry. You know me when I get to rambling. So what do you want to? What is it? So you want to tell us about this one?
This is just no piece of the puzzle right there.
Also, one other thing, Bill, in this
Yeah.
entire discussion, what is publicly said is not necessarily the actual real reason in the government realm.
Right.
The security guys, I can tell you for a fact, the security guys do not. We intentionally, because I worked in that area when I was in the military, we intentionally don't tell you everything. We're going to give you a semi-lame excuse for the public realm, and the actual reason will stay inside the government. So take that with a grain. Take what you're seeing with a grain of salt, and going, everybody going off on blah 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 blah. Trust me, there's probably 10 more reasons that are on their list that they're not talking about.
Yeah.
You've got more than just Florida hitting at it.
So there's more than one V-copter out in the wild now.
We played one, but the guy crashed it when he was flying it backwards.
Oh, whoa. That doesn't sound good.
But I will say this, to concede all this point. Does it feel like we're picking on our hobby? Yes. 100% agree. On its face value, it doesn't, it's like, so I can kind of see why everybody's reacting. But I'll just tell you, there's a lot more going on behind the scenes as to why they're doing what they're doing versus what they've publicly stated. And that's always the case.
It's always, exactly.
Right. But what makes me mad is look at all the USA manufacturers. Bill, remember the drone you sent me a couple of days ago? That one in the messenger, that was 12,900 or 9,000. Watts Innovation is $25,000. Any U.S. manufacturer, they're seeing this as a gold mine. If they cut off DJI, well, we've only got what? 5
You want to know who a
US
manufacturer is that everybody assumes is not a U.S. manufacturer? The Autel Enterprise.
Yeah,
are all assembled in Houston. It's actually in the U.S. and they did that intentionally because of what we did to DJI.
So what are they going to bitch about? The parts?
So you mean now, or it's always been like that?
About a year ago.
Okay.
They moved it. Now, obviously, they're getting parts from China. Hell, Skydio and everybody else is getting parts from China.
Right.
The entity list, I think, hurt DJI, and I'll give you my sort of reasoning as to what has gone down that may tip us off to the entity list really hurting them.
Okay,
what's the standard controller with the Mavic 3?
The regular,
the already existing controller with the chips that they already had approval to buy, right?
Right.
So they didn't release something new that was completely designed, completely new chips, completely blah, right? And then the other piece I think that sort of tips it off a little bit as well is look at the RC Pro. It's the same size. It's the same screen. They changed a few of the guts, put a slightly faster processor in it, but it's literally all stuff that they had access to. It's not some new design where they got new technology that may have incorporated stuff from the US. In particular, the one that hurts them bad is Texas Instruments.
See, you can tell Mike's already bored as shit too. He's like, okay, what? Wait, can you drink coffee and speak at the same time?
Well, Texas Instruments does the boards for the smart batteries. That's what pisses me off. And
what now? But they Texas Instruments couldn't do the board in this one, could they?
The only difference with
some of the communication stuff are TI patents.
That's going to be 33 dBi FCC power. That's it. That's what the OcuSync 3 Plus is. Instead of 30, it's 33 dBi.
Okay, just give me the floor for about 5 minutes. Dan's pissed off at me because I sent a link of his channel to him instead of the link to come on the show. So he's like, "Rrr." So anyway, I wanted to say, since Dan's probably going to be pissed off at me, not talking to me for a month or two now anyway, I want to tell everybody that part of the reason I was wanting to ask Dan on tonight was Dan was on the very first drone therapy. He was my inspiration into live streaming in the first place and creating the show Drone Therapy to begin with. So that was part of why I invited him on tonight, was to give him kudos for giving me the inspiration to do the show. Plus, he told me he wanted to rant about some shit and everything. I know people a lot of times will blame the downfall of the drone community on people like diving bridges or doing illegal shit. But in the same sense of the word, I want to ask you, is it good for the community when we support a deadbeat dad or, you know, somebody that lives in mom's basement? Is that good for the hobby too? That's my kind of question, because I'm kind of in a dilemma, because some channels I see getting support, but I also know that if they were my neighbor, I would, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I would be like, he don't take care of his family, man, or he lives off his mom. And I would be like, I'm not going to do, you know, and I'm just trying to figure out, we all get pissed off about stuff like that because it's right out in front of you and you can see it. But a lot of the people, we have no earthly idea about what they do in the background and what goes on.
Right.
And I'm just wondering, is that beneficial to the hobby as well?
Well, start off with the fact that you can't split FPV and GPS pilots apart. If we're not one group and sticking together, we're screwed as a number, as a large number facing the FAA.
Oh, he just said, "What? You're live right now?" And I was like, "Yes." I said, "Hello to you. I was just talking about you." So he's still probably mad. Hey, what's up, Chris? Good to see you.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I wasn't trying to throw a wrench in it. You know, see, here's Dan. He's see. Anyway, so
Dan, jump on, man.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. We were talking
But
about
wear the crown if you jump on.
Okay, and
He's got to wear the crown.
He just threw it out there.
He's got to wear the crown, damn it, if he's coming on.
But that's another thing too. It seems like, you know, honest opinion, and this is just my opinion. I'm not pointing fingers or shit. But it seems like maybe 8 to 10 larger channels seem to direct what channels evolve and what channels succeed in the drone community, as opposed to, that's just me. So what do y'all expound on that? What do you think?
People love to watch crash videos, and they love to watch long distance, long range videos and all that shit. And that's all against the FAA. And the FAA is going to keep making rules until they can stop you. And they're wetting their pants waiting for remote ID to come in so they can shut your controllers off.
I think I have an answer to your question.
What?
Does it matter? Because are those big guys making any money off of their channels off of YouTube? Almost none of them. So why does it matter?
If you Rod, produce quality work, but it doesn't get noticed because two or three of these larger channels say, "Oh no, this guy's, you know, not quite as up to snuff, but he's a good guy. He's a good guy for you to deal with," and your shit just gets overlooked when, you know. And I don't think so much of it being YouTube's algorithm as it's, you know, as opposed to, okay, these people have gotten to a certain height, so they'll just play off of them. You know, what kind of videos do you like? Who are you watching now? Who are you checking out now? And it tends to be the people that, forgive me, kiss their ass the most.
Sure.
You know, that the people they promote is the people that kiss their ass the most. And I would rather be the guy that says, okay, I actually got something out of what he said, rather than, and just like Dan told me to begin with, he's like, if you keep your channel this way, it's going to grow so fucking slow. And I said, I don't care because my channel is about the hobby. It always has been.
So
Yeah, it all
just
depends
to-
what you want to do with your channel.
so
And I
so
see
Bill, let me
people-
throw
I-
something out. My daughter did a YouTube video that had over 6,000 views, which is probably more views than any of us on here have had on a singular video.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, well, maybe. But I haven't. No, I think Mike's had more than that. Mike's had a few 15 or 20,000 views.
38,000.
There you
Good.
go. But you king. But it was a
So-
clickbait video, right?
But as a 14-year-old, I guess where I'm going with it was the subject matter. So
Yeah,
hers
exactly.
hers was a how-to on a kids game.
See, and that's something I used to be really hypocritical about too. I would say, and Mike, I'm not doing this to bust your balls. I used to say clickbait videos are wrong. But then I didn't really understand the definition of a clickbait video. A clickbait video is something that says, like I saw one the other day. Mini
It's this and
3
this,
already in
but it's
production.
not. Yeah,
Mini
no.
3 already in production, which is an out and out lie. You know, it's and we don't know for a fact that it is. And the entire video was like, you know, all these other things that they had taken from a bunch of places that speculated about this. And then
Well, as soon as that list came out, was what is DJI putting on the market and when, a dozen or so channels jumped right in and said, "This is what the Mini 3 is going to be like." But I just got this little tech update here. All major companies that pulled out of CES, including Amazon, Google, Microsoft.
Oh my God!
There's a bunch that have all pulled.
Yeah,
out.
I know what you're saying, Kai. But really, they'll say it. This is the actual model of the drone, when really it's not. And some people say it's in production, but it's not. And they don't understand that it's just a render. It's just a render. It does not mean it's the actual drone that's going to be coming out. Because these companies get a ton of rendered images from others designing the product for them.
I can show you renderings I do here on my own computer, because I actually have.
Oh yeah, it's easy to pull off.
Dun, dun, dun.
Easy to pull off.
There you go. No, I can make up a model on my computer, make it look like it's actually in fact out on the market. Just was the software that I have. I actually have the photo rendering option to go with it.
Make us a DJI Mavic 3 Pro.
I mean, hello. How long have we had photoshopped pictures
Hey, Dan.
for content that everybody was worried about? Anybody can make anything up with today's computer technology.
All right, let me have it. Go ahead, get it.
But that guy Osalita is saying they're coming out with their next one's going to be a vertical takeoff and landing drone anyway from DJI.
Dan, where's the crown? Come on, you got to put the crown on. Or did you give the crown up? Give it to somebody
else. Are you talking, Dan?
I gave the crown to Ed. That's why we call him.
You gave the crown to Ed? Ooh.
I had invited Ed tonight too, but he wasn't feeling well.
This is the crown from the meetup?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So the theory is that rather than 8 or 9 channels actually pushing views and whatever sponsorships towards channels that are favorites, we're just saying that the entire drone community on a whole is down in general, is what Brian's saying.
I would concur with that. What do you think the viewership of drones is versus pick any video game that's out there? It's a freaking drop in the bucket. So I would ask a question of what you were asking, Bill, which is realistically, what do you get out of it? You know, I tell people I have a YouTube channel, but I'm not trying to build a YouTube channel. I'm just throwing some videos and stuff out there for, you know, friends, family, and other people to look at, because the reality is, ain't never going to make any money off from it.
No,
and with what Google has done, nobody's going to make money.
Hang on just a second. There's a couple of people in the chat, and I don't know for sure what the shit's going on, but like I said earlier, Dan is the whole reason that I started drone therapy in the first place. I had watched Dan doing live streams with when he was doing Hubson stuff, because that was the only person you could learn from. It was the only one that gave you enough details. So after I watched Dan do live streams, I started talking to him back and forth, and I said something about it. We started doing drone therapy, and that's what I'm saying. I wanted to give him kudos. So if you're going to bash him, just go ahead and fucking hit the door. I told Dan to begin with that if he wanted to say something, that he could come in here tonight, have his platform, and speak and say what he thought, what he felt. And that's the whole truth. Because if it wasn't for him in the first place, I wouldn't be doing any live stream.
Well, he started way back with the Solo doing the open source software, which is what I loved. But then I got hooked into the GPS because of the cameras. I'm all about the cameras. And I'm not. I think the DJI Mavic 3 to me is bullshit. Why does it only get 20 megapixels like the Mavic 2 Pro? Why isn't it any better?
I have no idea.
I'll shut up.
Well, no. The thing about it is I can't fly FPV. I get sick. I can fly it once in a blue moon. I can do it, and I've tried to push through and everything, and it doesn't work. I just get dizzy and either throw up or pass out. So,
Although I do have a question for Dan. How you feeling, Dan? You
How
doing
do I
any
look
better?
like I'm feeling, man?
Yeah. Like the past when you made that comment. Sorry to hear that.
Such is life, bro. Nobody said it was going to be fair. Just
Yeah.
like YouTube.
For the bebop. What was that? I can't
well, no,
remember.
he parrot. That's what I was saying. Dan got
Top
everybody
Gun.
started on all that shit, and I was like, I had even looked at. I almost bought a solo. Almost bought a solo when we were talking about that. But that's when he had what was a 501S, and that was because the first drone I ever saw, dude at the fish factory had a Phantom 4, and I couldn't at the time. There was no way in hell I could afford a Phantom 4. So
Here's the killer. If you have a Solo with Dan's mod, you're still flying today. I've got so much money wrapped up in Inspire 1s behind me, and you can't get the batteries for them because DJI has a non-disclosure clause with the TRS or whoever makes that smart controller board. When DJI decides they're going to end of life a drone, they stop making the damn batteries. You're forced to buy another drone.
Yeah.
And I think what TDR said is, to be fair, is honest, right? If you look at hobbies that are out there, what do you think the size of the entire drone community is, say, to the entire community of cameras and people that do cameras or photography or, pick anything that's out, your choice of other things.
We know the FAA numbers are a lie because if each one of us register 5 drones, they're saying there's 1 million drones out there. That doesn't
There's a reason GoPros are so damn popular, right? Because there's so many other hobbies that you can use GoPros on and produce video that is freaking unreal. Like, take Sean Oz skiing down the mountain, doing his thing with his GoPros and stuff. So, there are far bigger communities on YouTube than the droning community. Not to say that we're not important. And not to say that people are in here are not part of other communities too. So, because they are.
Well, yeah, I totally get that. But so you're saying that you don't feel that larger drone channels will send other, maybe not deserving channels.
That statement, I would agree with 100%. As a guy who's on the outside, who lives in the business world, it's blatantly obvious. Why and for what benefit? Because they're making no money out of it anyway. So
yeah, that's what
I look at it and go, I don't get why they're playing these stupid games, because it's exactly that. It's just freaking stupid games on YouTube.
I was talking about you earlier, Marcel.
All right. So I've heard all this. Let's be honest with ourselves here, man. You guys are thinking in such a small proportional area aspect of all this. You realize volume has everything to do with how much you make, right? I mean, like, if I have 1,800 videos fucking posted and each one of those gets watched a day, that's 2 cents per video. just do the math yourself, man. It's not these guys aren't making money. They're making plenty of money. And then if you add on top of that all of their donations that they get, and then on top of that, the work that they do with other companies, these guys are making a fuckload of money. So don't kid yourself into thinking they're not. They're making a lot of money. Whether it's YouTube that's providing for them Google AdSense, revenue stream based on
Paid promotions.
these guys are making money. They're not going to tell you exactly how much they make, but they'll take your money and send you to Spin Up and try to tell you how they made their magic happen.
Right.
So I don't go to these things because they're not telling me anything I don't already know. As far as I'm concerned, it's just another money grab. I'm not saying that I don't like these people in real life. I've met a lot of them. You guys know I've met these people, right? I'm aware of who they are off camera. I'm aware of who they are on camera. I see the differences in these people. I've never changed. All I did was just become more precise with the way that I do things and how blunt I am with people. That's the only thing that's changed in my world. What you see off camera is what you see in real life. I'm not here to befuddle your brain and try to make you think all these weird things. You know, if I say I'm trolling somebody, damn right I'm trolling somebody, but there's probably a very good reason behind that. Most of what you guys see is only what I present you with, and that's why a lot of people don't like me and call me the douchebag Dan. They don't understand all the stuff that happens in the background. Jim, you're a prime example of that. You understand what we went through with a few of these guys and exactly how all of that stuff played out, right? Multiple warnings were given to these people. We tried to clarify. We tried to solve the problem before it became an issue, and then it became an issue. And then how did that resolve itself, Jim?
Well, you know, I don't know why, but there are some disruptors that like Jay Bird, you know, even when you block them, they can still come into the chats and all that, and they'll change their names. I had a couple of people last night in my chat. I'll call them just trolls. Like Bill, you just had a few you got rid of, or your mods got rid of. That I don't. They're constantly looking to split us up, make us hate each other.
I just quit caring. There's a difference. See, we've all jumped in this very elite category of what we consider the drone community or the drone world. All these guys think they're going out to be famous now because they've seen the Dobos, they've seen the Herons, they've seen the, you know, so everybody now is in it for themselves. They're all pushing as much as they all hang out and they shake hands and they go to their little meetups. Probably a big majority of these guys are in it for themselves. And as soon as they start getting what they want, then they start taking the leap and they drop the people that they don't need anymore. And then they surround themselves with the people that are going to carry them further. I've seen this happen time and time again, and I'm tired of it. That's why Dan doesn't care anymore. See, when you take somebody who's humble and then you show them the other side of that world, and then they open that humble ability up to people and then they take advantage of it, you create a monster. And that's what has happened with me. So I just am not that guy everybody remembers that created solo content, Hubson content. I'm a totally different animal now. I'm not trying to be that guy anymore. I do what I want to do.
Well, and to your point, it's also pretty obvious watching the content who the sales guys are. They're basically walking advertisements, and you know they're walking advertisements for the products and vendors and crap, and those are the ones that I don't.
Or they feed you.
Those are the ones that I ignore.
Well, what about the ones that use control lines like, I'm creating this for the future of my children? My ass, you're doing it for yourself. You're doing every bit of it for yourself. Stop fucking lying. 51 drones, my
Best
ass.
thing you could do for your children is put some money in a stock and give it to them. It'd probably be worth more than a YouTube channel.
It kills me. I mean, Russ gets out in his backyard and makes all these videos, but I guess what burnt me a new ass was when he walked out and said, I'm doing this for the future of my children. And I'm like, no, you're not, man. YouTube is all about being an alpha and wanting to promote yourself, you know? But the drone community was one of those neat little niches where you could have brotherhood, or you thought you could have brotherhood.
You thought you could. I tried starting my streams off with Tech Tuesday. Dan will tell you that, right? It was like 2.5, 3 years ago. We started doing Tech Tuesday. Dan would come, we'd show stuff. People didn't care, man. They don't want to know about how to edit their videos or how to make the battery mods that Dan's making or use open source software. So we stopped getting screwed by DJI.
Oh yeah, they do, but they want you to put it all in a single YouTube video so that they don't ever have to come to you for jack shit unless they blow up their house. And then of course they'll blame you.
I do a lot of construction videos, and there's only so many of those you can post, and people that give a shit about watching them. So you can't even see the last time I posted a video. It was 6 months ago.
And to be fair, Bill, part of what has changed is YouTube has got competition now with like TikTok and everything else. And so I tell everybody this, mobile devices has entirely destroyed the human population's attention and their ability to pay attention, because everything's got to be in like 60 seconds or less now for them to watch. And so, you know, what was YouTube 5 years ago is not what it is now, and won't be based on the competitors. I mean, look at the fact that they've gone into the shorts, right?
Yep.
To sort of hold off some of these other things. But in the reality, big picture thing is mobile devices has really driven this short attention span to folks, and has driven a wedge into human communications with humans. People know how to know how to text and communicate better with people than they do face to face.
Well, instead of making a 30-minute video, make 31-minute videos. You're going to get more views on the 31-minute videos than you will on the 130.
For the past 3 years, we've been forced to be separated from each other pretty much too. You know, I mean, you could do it, but everybody's been kind of apprehensive. You know, you'd be like, yeah, I'm okay, you know, and you go and you hang out. But up back of your mind, it's always still there. So people sometimes don't go or can't go for those reasons. So if the theory is correct and this thing is starting to die out, then maybe within the next year, we'll actually begin to normalize again. We'll have to wait and see.
And you also have the same problem of the things I was talking about 2 years ago, or Dan was talking, or any of us were talking about 2 years ago. You've got this new influx of people buying these Mavic Minis and the $200 drones, right? And the thing starts all over again.
I don't know. I don't advocate for DJI. I'm not a sellout. I'm not a fake. These are all things I despise and hate. So
and that's when I told him that I had sold everything and bought the Mavic 3. And what was that shirt again?
Hey, Ron.
That shirt?
So
yeah, ignorance is bliss.
There you go.
I agree with Dan, and it's probably one of my heartburns that I have is that, you know, everybody goes, we only have DJI. You know whose fault
bullshit.
That is?
Yeah, everyone that purchased.
Everyone, all of us, everybody in the community. We're the problem because
killing it. You're killing the drone community. Every time you purchase a DJI product, you're killing the drone community more.
Look behind me. I know.
I know.
It's like wasted money. There's a Original Osmo Pro with the Z access, and what did they do? They just drop it. The Sendence remote controller was $1,300. What did they do? They dropped it for that new small mini controller. I mean, people don't understand. They're going flying out 5 miles. Their antenna is a 3-inch piece of wire. You ever taken a DJI antenna apart? It's a 3-inch piece of wire. I don't know. Where do you go?
I'm the same way as you, Jim. And
if I was smart enough to build an X8 FPV, I would friggin' do it already, but I'm not.
I basically like taking pictures and recording a little bit of video, but mainly pictures. And it's the best product for what I enjoy doing. You know, and I mean, and then what sucks about it is that you can say I'm killing the hobby all day long, but I really thought about getting an Autel before I went ahead and bought the Mavic 3.
Have you considered, though, Bill, if you just stop buying, that they'll have to format the way they do things? The only reason they continue doing what they're doing is because the people keep buying. You have to show them that you are in control of what they do. The only way to do that is to stop buying their products, man. So the more you guys
who else do we buy?
It, exactly. I'm more addicted to flying than I am DJI.
That's the question, though.
Who else?
So how do you stop DJI? How do you stop a massive force like DJI?
you stop buying their product. But you,
And
or
then you
make
wait
your own.
for another company to step up to the plate, or you build your own. You can't just keep giving them what they want. It's like the FAA. Everything the FAA is doing isn't helping us. It's not helping us.
No.
It's totally against what we're doing, right? But the GPS people, here's the big difference that I noticed with the FPV guys versus the GPS people. The FPV guys go, I'm just not gonna listen. It's civil disobedience. You know how many problems have actually been caused with civil disobedience? A lot. A lot. Civil wars were fought because of civil disobedience. So my whole thing comes down to GPS people just accept what they're given. If FAA says it, you guys go, okay, well, I'll take the next test. I don't like it, but I'm going to. You know, it's like, just fine. Just keep giving them what they want. They'll just keep doing it to you.
To Dan's
You know?
point, Thomas Jefferson made a famous quote that is appropriate in this conversation. And one of his quotes was, "A little revolution once in a while reminds the
good.
government who's in charge."
Damn right.
Nothing wrong with a little conflagration.
So what he is saying is exactly what
Let's
Thomas
not.
Jefferson
We already
was
had
saying.
one of those. Now, calm down. Settle down. Let's. We don't need to do it every year. Let's not make it a yearly thing. Let's just calm down a little bit.
No, but
All I'm
these are-
saying is I haven't changed. Nothing I've ever pushed on anybody has changed. I've always been about open source. I've always been about the FAA trying to take too much control. And the only reason there's overregulation is because they don't know how to control it. We all know that. Everybody knows that.
right.
But until you can come up with a good set of rules that applies to everybody, then you can enforce outside the box. And that's what I hate. I hate that they're trying to enforce outside the box, right? It's like paramotors can go out and they can strap an engine to their back and they can fly without a license. But drone pilots can't do that for commercial work. If they took their paramotor and they took pictures from an altitude and they sold those pictures to somebody else, the same rules don't apply to them. Why? These are problems I have. This is an issue. It's not fair across the board for everybody. And
Look
until
at
they can
model
make
rockets.
it fair, then they can't push it on you. And that's why I ride the train I do.
I started with SD's model rockets as a kid, but I saw there's a guy on there that takes his paramotor everywhere.
Mhm.
He'll go up
He
and
flies
fly
it
to
to
McDonald's.
McDonald's.
Yeah. You seen that video too?
I love that guy, bro. He's awesome. And he speaks the truth.
Well, what's his name? Tucker God or something?
Yeah. He's an awesome guy. He just talks the truth. He's been
It's
turned in for
cool.
a ton of videos.
But I'm trying to figure out what to do because I enjoy flying too much and enjoy taking pictures too much to just say, "Oh, fuck you, DJI. I'm not going to buy your product."
Oh, wait a minute. It's not difficult. The tubes on that stupid Inspire are 22 millimeters thick of carbon fiber tubes with engines and ESC stuck on the back. All that runs through is wires going to their board. Why has there never been I know there's Arterion now. Why has there never been an open source controller manufacturer besides Pixhawk Dan, which you don't like because it was sold to, I know Ian from Mads Tech isn't in love with them either. But that here controller is $700.
I'm not against Pixhawk, but if I'm doing things for future stuff like a drone build, I would use a Druno. I mean, it's still Pixhawk's driven. It's just a Druno copter. You know, if you want to build a drone that's going to do exactly what you want to do, then you're going to use Arducopter and a base station. You can tell it, you can program it to do whatever you want. It's all Linux based, systems. So there's no holdback. All the people are like, oh, I bought a DJI because does what I want it to, but why not just build a drone that does what you want it to?
What's
what's stopping you?
The program on the computer again? I can't remember the name of it.
What's that mission? Well, there's a bunch of them. There's
shows you the map mission plan.
Yeah, there's mission planner. There's Pixhawk base. There's a whole bunch of them. So there's a drone. There's a Drino.
Well, what I'm saying
so
is
it's not that hard
building it. I'm just saying I couldn't because of my eyes. I can't. It would be too difficult for me to try to solder shit because even with like serious magnifying glasses, I don't have that steady touch anymore.
Bill,
I tend to
make friends with an FPV guy in your area. They can solder.
Well, yeah. But
you're cutting yourself short on the smallest little detail.
I totally get what you're saying, but you're making me jump all these extra fences when I'm addicted to the. No, I totally get. But what I'm trying to say is, and what Rod's pointing out is, and what everybody in the chat's pointing out is I just go to Best Buy, I get a box, I go home, I fly.
That's my point, though. Everybody does that, and that's what's killing the market.
But you can
Because you're
I can
giving
do
them all
that
the
now.
control.
Yeah, I can do that now. I'm an hour from Race State Quads. They literally build FPV drones that I can buy and go over there. And if I break it, I can take it back and let them fix it too. You don't have to do the soldering piece.
Look at
So
all
as
the
Dan
RC
said, you can
plane
find
guys and all the helicopter guys
What
who've
the
been flying for
fuck,
50
man?
years, and we're
Yep,
screwing their
blind and
lives.
fly. Exactly.
So this is why I'm not heavy on the drone community like I used to be, man. It's changed too much. I have no interest in pushing stuff that's not ever going to take off because people aren't willing to make the commitment. It's like, I just don't care. I don't care. I'm going to fly FPV. I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to work on scooters. You don't like it? There's the door.
Well, no, yeah, I totally get that, and I totally like when we started the show basically by saying that the Race Day Quads case was going to be the downfall of the entire drone community because of basically the way the judges had already hinted that the written decision was going to come out was that it's way too much of a privacy invasion, and
It is.
then Kai said national security.
Yeah, but you can't tell someone where my controller is standing at while I'm flying. We've already had many instances of people getting their stuff stolen.
Well, he's just saying that they're going to kick us, the hobbyists, out of the sky, and then the commercial companies are going to pay top dollar for a permit from the government to be able to fly.
I'm
Yeah.
not going to stop flying, and I'm not going to follow the rules either. So, civil disobedience. Take it at face value. I'm not going
Well,
to stop.
I get you can pull civil disobedience once or twice, but then they're going to just slap you, right?
Let's have it. You get enough people involved, man. Change happens.
Well,
What a revolution is for.
Tampa is one of the places that created a single park for drone flying. Do you fly at that park, Dan?
Hell no. I think you saw my video about why I don't.
Okay.
I made it very clear that I don't want to fly at that park.
You got HOAs saying, homeowners association saying you can't fly or take off from their property.
Don't care.
You know, everybody's trying to make a friggin' rule against us.
I go to my property then and I take off.
Yeah, because I mean, you can tell people where they can't take off, but you can't tell them once they get in the air.
Like I said, it's micromanaging a hobby that's so much larger than they're really trying to control. They just need a good set of rules, and they need to give proper airspace to proper people. I'm sorry, but if it's an issue, then set drones at 300 feet and every other aircraft above that, unless there's a reason for an emergency pass-through, like a helicopter has to come through for whatever reason. You know, they're making this way more complicated than it needs to be. It is such a simple thing to control it, and they're just taking it way out of bounds.
That's what I'm going to do, Marcel. I'm going to tell them at the Canadian border, you got to let me over. Don't frisk me, man. I got to go get my drone fixed. So, Marcel, since you build FPV drones, you're going to help build me an FPV drone, and I'm just going to go back and forth across the border because he's only like 60 miles away from me. We've already figured that part of it out.
Hey,
Really?
Marcel, you can just buy a 3DR Solo, and then you have an FPV drone and a fully functional Pixhawk unit that does regular GPS as well as mission planning and mapping.
I thought you didn't like the Solex. Is there another software for it?
No, you can use it. You don't have to just use Solex. You can use any software you want, man. You could use Mission Planner to operate it if you want to. So there's nothing stopping anyone from using the Solo. The only person that's really going to convince themselves they don't like it in here right now is Lon, and that's because he hated his.
Oh, his Solo. I get it.
Yeah.
So, Bill, I think Dan would be interested in one of those ideas that I chatted with you about.
Go ahead.
That came from the FPV, and you know my point about the FPV world, right, for the camera drone. So obviously one of the challenges that Hubson and Femi and some of those little guys have in a lot of ways is the software. So an interesting thing that goes on in the FPV world is what's probably, I don't know, Dan. My viewpoint is or at least the one that I've heard is beta FPV, right? But it's a common software, and then everybody builds their own hardware, but uses that software.
We're not using beta it's beta flight. Beta FPV is a
got
company
it. Yeah,
yeah.
Sorry. Yeah,
All
you're
good,
right.
man.
I misspoke. But the point is, it's basically an open source software, right? That the hardware guys make their hardware work with effectively. So why couldn't Hubson and Femi and all of these other little guys, why couldn't they wind up using something like Betaflight as their software and then compete and then just compete? and just compete on hardware.
They can. Hubsan does use a lot of Linux-based product, but it's not on the same power that you're thinking of, man. To operate a DJI product, you would need definitely a lot more processing power. So when it comes to adding in extra sensors, servos, motor connections, you want each individual piece to do certain things. There's a lot of programming involved, man. You need something that's got some serious processing power for that. So that's where Adruno and Arducopter and all that stuff comes into play. These companies can do it, but the form factor is going to be slightly different. You know what I'm saying? If you're running Adruno, you're running full setup, man. It's a big board. It communicates a lot of information. It's basically an onboard computer that's doing a lot of work. So it's not that they can, it just comes down to form factor. That's why DJI makes a lot of proprietary stuff based on their own systems. You know what I'm saying? When it goes to open source, we're talking a lot more involved.
Sure. But there's no reason, there's nothing that would stop those guys from doing something like that so
No.
that they could invest in what they really want to invest in, which is the hardware pieces.
Here's what we've learned. There's not enough people willing to make the commitment to learn how that software works. 3DR Solo was a prime example of that. When it dropped, everybody was like, wow, this is going to be the world's coolest drone. I got news for you. It still fucking is. Okay? It still has a huge future ahead of it. It's programmable. They keep making new parts for it. Like, it hasn't stopped yet. That was what 3DR Solo wanted to introduce to the drone community, was a drone that would always be able to be advanced for the future. And it still is today. This is what sets it apart from proprietary based systems like DJI and all these other companies, is that this is a drone you just adapt new parts to once you buy it. If something doesn't work, somebody designs it, you add that part in, you install the code, boom, parameters are set, go again. You don't have to change your drone every year, upgrade to something else. It's a drone that grows with you, your skill set, your abilities. That's what sets it apart. So,
but and you can look to the PC world sort of as a model for maybe what the drone world needs to do, where, you know, in the PC world, do the hardware manufacturers sort of worry about the OS? No, the OS is either Windows or Mac or Linux, right? For the most part, for OSs that are out there, and the guys manufacturing the PCs or the laptops, or, well, I suppose if you throw a mobile in there, then you got Android and Linux. iOS. But the hardware guys are doing the hardware, and then, you know, there's a specific set of software guys that deal with the software side. And maybe
not really. It's GitHub, dude. If you want something created, you just drop a request.
I know.
You just drop a request in GitHub of what you want, and somebody will code it within 2 weeks, and they'll have an upload file for you just to download directly to your drone.
So, but even with all those OSs,
well beyond what it ever should have.
Right. But with all those OSs, they all have APIs, so anybody can develop any piece of software on top of it. So
sure. I mean, that's essentially what GitHub is. It's an open source platform for people.
I don't understand why there hasn't been a drone made, whether it be a flat or an Inspire type, that has a Pixar cube in it with a, let's say, a Here link, which does RTK even, for $700.
Here's amazing.
You could sit there and have a $1,400 product that would last you an absolute lifetime, because you can buy open source batteries.
Yep.
A lifetime.
Across the board. And every time tech gets outdated, they just build a new part. And, oh, now you want to run a new DSLR rig? Here, just install this part. Now you can run all the newer cameras.
See, that's what I like about the Sony AirPeak is the camera. You need a
$1,200 Grimsey gimbal. You need a $1,200 Grimsey gimbal after you spend the $10,000 for the Sony AirPeak.
No, I got it. It's really expensive, but from the standpoint of, you could have a drone that is essentially separate from the camera technology, so that you can keep that drone, and all you have to do is just change the camera, right?
Right.
You could fly that same drone for 10 years. It doesn't matter. From a platform perspective, you just change the camera if you want a new camera.
There's a couple of guys doing it with FPV.
Jose, didn't you say you got the FPV drone for Christmas and you just went out and flew today earlier? I think you mentioned. I thought about that drone, but I didn't buy it. That was one of the DJI products I didn't buy. What's it? Wait.
Do you know what that is, Rod?
No.
This is how easy the Solo is to work with.
I had a feeling. Yeah.
I plug this into the Solo, and now I can use every new GoPro with the system. Every new GoPro that's come out. That's how advanced the Solo is and how simple it is to work with.
Sure.
One person just said, "Oh, we need this? Okay, I'll just design it." And then here, $30 later, now I can run every single brand new GoPro that comes out and still functions with the Solo today. That's what I've been trying to explain to people, why open source was always the way to go when it came to drones, but nobody wanted to listen, and everybody kept buying DJI, and here we are today. Now they've taken over everything, and they're just dominating the market.
And they've got every price range filled.
So
But didn't you have a Mini like a year ago?
what's
Dan,
that? Yeah, but
did
this
you-
I didn't buy it. That
Oh,
was
okay.
given to me for testing on my channel. I just don't buy DJI products anymore. Just like, if it's donated, okay, I'll try it out, see what I think. That one
See,
had
that-
overheating problems. It was plagued with issues, man.
I sold all my old stuff to buy the new drone, but and the other choice would have been to buy Autel. And what pissed me off about Autel before, and I was considering Autel because they were supposed to come out with the drone in like November, and then and then it was going to be another reason and another reason, and another reason, and then finally DJI just went ahead and put it out, and I was like, yeah, I did the same old thing. And, I got to have DJI, and I went and bought it, and and I can't afford to buy anything else now. So I'm hoping
Here's an
they fix.
interesting question on that one, Bill. And this is probably for a lot of people that are watching the show, right? And that is, why do you need to be an early adopter? Why does it matter? The conversation you're having is purely for, it didn't come out, blah, 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 because, well, we're early adopters, right? What about the drone flyers that are out there who's a consumer who walks into Best Buy and that drone is sitting there? Do they care that it was 3 months late?
no.
No, not at all, right?
Like I said, I didn't buy the FPV drone, but I did
So
buy the Mavic
maybe
3.
we as a community, maybe we shouldn't get quite so hung up on the whole early adopter thing. And what happens on every early adopter thing across any technology?
Yeah. Cell
There's
phones
going
the
to
same
be
way.
pains and growing pains for the product, whatever it is.
We watched Dennis Lovelady's video yesterday where the Mavic 3, he put it up in the air and played his ukulele. It traveled 237 feet and then returned to home and crashed into the trees. He put it up on air data today because I said, man, put that up on air data. I got to see the warnings. Rod, not one warning. Not one warning about the APAS or it shows him not controlling the sticks and the drone just moving 237 feet. So
I don't know. My
Everybody's
2015 3DR Solo doesn't do that.
well, then why hasn't that been built upon? Why hasn't that
Well,
been built
we
Marcel
all
is
know
right.
we all know why it tanked, and we know why it took off again. It tanked because the original design team sucked and had no idea how to write software. It didn't become popular again until they released it as open source, and then all the guys that knew what they were doing came in to solve the problems. But by then, 3DR had already gone under. So we just need a
Hollywood's starting to
company
use
to
more
step up to the
FPV.
plate.
Yeah, Marcel.
Wait a minute. Peacemaker Filmworks. What was that thing that Colt made? Okay, never mind.
But I'm 100% with Dan. DJI came about because we made DJI.
Oh yeah,
The community
it was
made
easy.
DJI.
It was easy, fast and easy.
Yeah, but did you notice how they did it? They didn't push the restrictions off on you. They gave you a taste of how good their tech was, and then after that, they slowly started introducing things. Just slow you down, draw you back. Started introducing no-fly zones. The next thing you know, you're grounded everywhere. Can't do anything.
But that pre-fly Alta that'll sling a red weapon or DSLR, whatever you want it to. That's been around forever. And yet DJI is stopping their Matrice 600 drone production. Why
What's
would
the matter,
they
Michael? You're quiet.
themselves off?
He's been that way the
No,
whole
I'm
show.
reading, some
Just kind of
chat.
sat there. And I was going to say, Matt Cundiff, if you're still in the chat, I got your stickers back in the mail, and it's exactly the same address that it's the right address. but for some strange reason they sent it back. So I'm going to send it back again another time, slightly a different way of addressing with the same address on it. Hopefully it'll get there this time. So I'm not sure.
So
Hopefully
maybe the mailman who's like that UPS guy who was dumping the boxes in the ravine got the stickers and just didn't want to deliver.
No,
so
it came all the way
decided to
back.
just turn it back. Huh?
It
Send
came all the
back.
way back to me. It came all
I
the way back to
screwed
me
up
from
my
Florida.
stickers.
Yeah, I'm just saying the address was right, but you got that one mail guy who just decided he didn't want to do it, right? He just, I don't like this one. I'm just going to send it back.
That one
Well,
lazy
it could have
bastard.
very well been that.
The
It could have
one
been it got
lazy
to, like,
bastard, like
Kansas,
that,
and they were like
like
"Ah,
that
hell with it."
UPS guy in Alabama that was just dumping the boxes in the ravine, right?
Oh my God. I honestly don't understand after this long a period since 2015 why we don't have something like the Solo looking like an Inspire but a flat drone. Why has
Not gonna happen, man. Learning
Pixar
curve.
keeps making the cubes better and better.
Yeah.
You've got the orange cube now.
Oh,
You've
man.
got HearLink with controllers. You've got RTK. All
Jim.
you need to do is throw it into one open source drone.
DJI just keeps making things simpler, so people are going to keep buying out of box solutions.
It's true. Yeah, that free fly out
That's-
has been around forever.
It's the end of it, dude. They don't want to learn complicated shit. I don't know what to tell them, man. You know, I've pushed it now for like 5-6 years. I mean, I don't know what to do. I'm done. I quit caring.
fine.
But why haven't we built one? I mean, even you and I haven't built one.
I don't need to. The 3DR Solo does everything I need it to do. And if it doesn't, then I just ask a few people to get involved on a project and we create the part we need.
I mean, Sony Airpeak is actually the only real drone. Well, no, that's a lie. The Free Fly Alpha's been out forever. But the Airpeak
Solo
is one you can slap a DSLR
camera.
on. Huh?
The Solo will carry a micro 4/3 camera.
Oh, it'll easily carry a DSLR rig.
It will.
I can pick
Yeah.
up a whole nother 3DR Solo fully loaded and fly it around my yard like it's child's play. I've done 3 drone retrievals on one battery with the Solo, and it didn't even
Hold
flinch.
that Blackmagic Design 4K pocket camera, which is made out of carbon fiber, so it's a light DSLR.
You turn it into a FPV drone though, right, Dan?
No, it's a fully functioning 3DR Solo. It just has FPV capability because it came with acro out of the box. It was way ahead of its time, Michael. It was a drone that was way too advanced for people, and it was way ahead of its time. People aren't realizing how cool it is until now. It's too late. Everybody waited too long.
You see what he's talking about in the industry that enough
Yeah.
people here. So he's just basically saying with the talent and skills that you all have, you should be looking into the film industry to fly drones. That
Look
you
at the
would potentially
normal
make a lot
film.
better money.
Look at a movie and look at a drone clip. It's 5 to 10 seconds, period. Period. So you're not going to make your life off of making a movie when you're using 5 and 10 second clips.
I don't know, man. I know my
That's a-
FPV. I
You
know
know,
my
he had a brilliant idea. Look at this. Start an actual small drone production, film production.
He's
company.
right.
Why hasn't
Start
it
a
been
small
done?
one as a small business and start creating your own films and stuff. Do independent film work and stuff.
I don't know, man. I hang out with a lot of FPV guys that are really talented pilots, and they make an absolute killing flying FPV for movie scenes. So I don't know, man. Hell, you got Erod who just finished a huge production shoot with
You're right, Marcel.
Michelle Rodriguez. They just did a whole drift movie, and they needed FPV for the entire movie. It was insane.
I saw that.
Yeah, he got paid ridiculous amount of money for that. So I don't know, man. I think it really comes down to skill here and what you're trying to get yourself involved in. That's really going to be the payout or not.
Yeah, Daytona 500 last year had 2 types of drones. They had a camera drone, but they also had an FPV drone.
Ripping
some of
next
the-
to the cars. Yep.
Yeah, ripping next to the cars for the faster shots. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, look at New York 1. New York 1 is Curtis. That's how they do it. He sets up his own camera, stands back 10 feet, holds the mic, and talks. That's the news for New York 1. So it can be done. We don't do it. But I'm just flabbergasted by how come this world of ours hasn't come out with because we won't be buying more batteries from them, because we won't be buying more motor. I don't know why. Why hasn't it been done? An open source drone been made besides
has.
the small
Yeah.
ones.
It has. You're just not accepting it because the company's not around anymore.
There's a lot of new cameras coming out that are the small cube size. Blackmagic has them. Sony has one that are pretty light. They're carbon fiber made. They're full frame or 4/3 that you could put up on a drone.
I don't know.
I've seen. Oh, they were guys flying. They had 6 FPV cameras and they were flying down those cliffs.
Wow. A hobby pilot in BC got hired just for posting some flood shit.
Yep. Yeah, it's surprising, man, how many people actually take to the FPV stuff just because it's so much more involved. The FPV stuff is all proximity based. I think most of you guys know that by now. It's so much more involved. You can get shots that you just could never even dream of with a photography crew all day. FPV just gets up close to the action in a way that's just never been offered before. So those guys are making a lot of money, and it's great doing real estate and stuff. But if you found out how much a lot of these FPV guys actually make for their shoots, it's ridiculous.
I do believe that Kyle's got to jump off here. And
Yeah, I'm sorry. I got to go.
That's
And
perfectly fine. I'm glad to have you on.
He holds drone meetups every month.
Stay gentle, you giant.
Oh, well, y'all be good.
Thank you for coming on, Kyle. You have a happy New Year.
Happy New Year, brother.
Have a happy New Year. We'll see you soon.
Happy New Year to y'all.
Yeah, he had posted in private chat. I just happened to notice it over there. Well, yeah, and I got to get my daughter a shower in about 10 minutes. So what else we got to talk about?
I do see that money shot FPV that Marcel put up.
Well, let's face it. Anything with movie studios is going to be good money.
Well, I honestly still see, even though the drone community has fallen off, I still see, more of if you kiss the big channel's ass and they like the way you kiss their ass, your channel tends to grow more, as opposed to, I don't put up the best work. I'm not going to deny that. I could probably spend more time on it, but I do put up better shit than a lot of channels that tend to get more views and stuff. But then again, I really don't kiss a lot of bigger channel ass, I guess you should say. I don't know.
That's the first time I've smiled in this stream, bro. You certainly know I don't.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's like people were talking about Billy's channel earlier, and I don't watch his channel a whole lot. I don't, because most of what he talks about now is the same stuff that I've already learned, I've already figured out.
Yes, yes,
so
thank you,
I don't have to go back there again.
Well, if you've been doing it for 7 years, why would you need to go to another channel to learn?
Yeah, and it's not like that. And I'm just, if we could all come out and do a video of the new drone and how to set it up. And
that's easy. That's how you get views. You just talk about stuff that just came out. But how much do you know?
Your channel doesn't have to be polished to be a good channel.
No, you just got to suck up to other people, man.
I've seen guys who make great videos put their videos up and their channels never grow. Now whether that's YouTube not pushing them or what, I don't know.
Well, no, I'm just asking. I'm not trying to say. Sometimes I feel that. I honestly do. I've noticed, a bigger channel will be promoting a channel, and then when I go look at that channel, I'm like, what?
No, it really doesn't happen that way.
I don't really see it that way.
Oh, all right. Well, Michael, let's. You say it doesn't happen that way. All right. Let me. I'm going to put you on the spot. Can I put you on the spot?
Bill's saying that if you kiss up to a bigger channel, that they're going to get you as big as them.
No. I'm not saying that.
No.
I'm saying they will promote you.
He's saying
I misunderstood.
He's saying you grow a lot faster, man. Yeah, that's yeah. So,
exactly. Because if YouTube's trying to sell something and one of those larger channels that's got like 100,000 starts suggesting a teeny tiny channel, and they know that their 100,000 viewers are probably going to go check out, probably maybe a third of them are going to go check out that channel, then damn Skippy, YouTube's going to want to put shit on their channel. They're going to want to follow that shit, you know?
That's called selling out and giving in. There's a difference between being a friend with somebody and then using that friend to grow. Big difference.
Well, no, I'm just saying, it's an opinion thing from my point of view.
No,
and I
it's
get
not
what you're
opinion,
saying,
it's
Mike. You're
truth.
saying it doesn't happen that way. I totally get that. I'm just saying that it seems like, I've seen some channels break through, but I've seen the channels that break through have done the same fucking video that everybody else has made over and over and over again. The firmware update for this is, or this selfie shot, or this droney, and it's the same thing over and over again. And what I'm trying to say is, are we not smarter than that? Are we not more intelligent than that? Do we always have to go back and watch the exact same? It's like, and for firmware 477, we're doing a droney. For firmware 4.772, we're doing a droney. And they just drove. It's just like, I feel like everybody that's watching the video is all going, no.
It takes longer to sit there and put that stupid thing into a point of interest mode than it does to just roll your thumbs and do a point of interest.
But guys, that wouldn't be the easy way to grow. You're not focusing on what these people are, and that's where all this comes back to, is that these people are trying to get clicks. That's all it comes back to. You don't see me making content like that because we know, Jim, we know how easy it is to do a pan by ourselves. We could probably pull it off smoother and make it look better because we're pilots. We know what we're doing.
I've never used the modes.
But that's not going to get us the clicks. That's not going to get you the likes, the love, the watch time, the views. That's selling out. You're just following YouTube's system that's been created to help you grow. See, I remember when this platform used to be a platform where your personality pushed you.
Yes.
It's not like that anymore, bro.
It's are you a good old boy now? Are you a good old boy?
Are you on the
It's the
bandwagon?
business.
Yeah.
It's the business, right?
Are you on the hype train and the bandwagon?
I could care less. I don't think I've got a subscriber in the last fucking year. I can look at my numbers. They're at 2,230 for a year now. I don't give a shit.
Why is that? Because you don't go outside and make videos. Let's test the safety return to home landing pad thing. Put up that video, and what happens? 3 days later, you have 4,000 views. Yeah, it's easy to get views. Everybody knows how to do that.
That's what we're talking about. Yeah. That's what Dan was saying too, Curtis. Crash video. Everybody was talking about crash videos and shit like that and get you clicks.
Yep.
Or clickbait, where you flat out fucking lie, where you just go, I have the Mavic, or have the Phantom 5 here in this video.
Remember with the Mavic 3, the clickbait one with the Mavic 3?
Don't get me started, bro.
Okay.
Don't get me started, man. Oh, God.
Another thing, too, is you can't always, in a situation like that, you may look at it, and to you, it may look like the real drone, and you may think it's real. And then 2 or 3 days later, you find out it was bullshit. Somebody rendered it on their computer. I can see that. But the whole point is you need to come back out and go, I was totally duped, man. Oh, man, I can't believe that shit. But another thing, too, about the bullshit that came out from the Mavic 3 pre-renders, it turned out that the Mavic 3 was pretty fucking close to what it looked like.
Mm-hmm.
The ones we saw from Australia, those ones on Twitter.
Yeah, but and even with the thinner arms, remember we were all talking about how we thought the arms were so much thinner and they were going to be more fragile, and then it turned out that as soon as the drone came out, the arms were thinner and it looked more fragile.
It's lighter than the Mavic 2 Pro.
But guys, back to the original point. You're selling out. You're just giving into YouTube's algorithm basis. That's easy. Anybody can do that. That's easy to grow. It's not complicated. It's not a magical thing that just falls out of the sky. It's an epiphany that people just had. It's easy to get clicks. But that's just showing that you're a simpleton. You're somebody who just doesn't even push the boundaries of what the capabilities of these products really are. You're not somebody who's actually willing to sit down, take the time, learn how these things work and why they work, and then explain that back to the people. Because a lot of people aren't going to want to sit there and go through all that to learn it. That's like Jim, going back to your main point was, Jim, why do people buy drones that are easy to just pull out of a box and fly? It's the same principle applies with clicks on videos.
Yeah,
no
but for this
difference.
amount of money, all right, for this goddamn amount of money, I would sit there and buy any open source drone made.
Sure.
There's tens of thousands of dollars in that goddamn
Oh,
drone.
yeah.
I would buy any open source drone that was made. If it had a Pixark orange, if it had the Here link and had the 2 RTK pucks on it, I'd be in business. I
No.
wouldn't need DJI.
No, do not follow that comment question. Do not post my link.
Why?
I don't want it. Don't post
Okay.
it. If these people want to come find me for themselves, that's fine. I don't do it that way. Please don't. Thank you, Bill.
All right.
Look at one of the first ones to change was Brian over at TDR Drones, Brian Singleton. He said these drones are pieces of shit. Remember how he just takes them and throws them? A lot of them are garbage.
Speaking of that, you'll probably appreciate this comment because of obviously what I do and where I work and all that kind of stuff.
Hey,
And
buddy.
sort of being more from the computer side of things coming into the drone world. One of my impressions that I have had, and nobody's been able to counter it, is if you look at these drones that are coming out, tell me they're actually high tech. Tell me they're not using stuff that was manufactured 4 years ago that was left over from cell phones that they're
Sensors.
now acquiring because they can acquire it cheap because it's 4 or 5 year old technology that they're then putting in and going, here's a new drone. But and point the big evidence of that point is look at the original DJI smart controller. The processor that they put in that thing was more than 4 years old when they launched.
Yeah.
Which is why it now has problems because what they put in there was an old piece of crap that
They
they
want
could
it
buy
that
cheap
way.
to put into their drones.
They
So you have
wanted-
to keep upgrading.
When they came
Right,
out with the
exactly.
Crystal Sky, it was only Android 5. They don't want you putting software on there.
Yeah, but that's been my impression coming from what is inevitably the bleeding edge of technology. Drones, at least these consumer drones, are just old
Look at that
pieces
plastic piece of crap
hardware
case
that's been
he's holding
thrown
up.
together.
I got a case from Monoprice for $40 off of drop.com. While everybody else is paying $500 for a friggin' drone case. Are you out of your mind? Go to Harbor Freight and get one for $18.
Yeah, it's $20.
Yeah,
The Apache. It's called the
right?
Apache.
Right?
Okay.
And here's the other part. Here's the other thing to think about. Look at FPV. Look at what a controller board will cost you. Look at what a motor will cost you. Look at what
Not much.
I was looking. Bardwell was doing. He did a video on. I forget what the camera was, but it's a $50 camera on there. And so you look at the prices that they're charging us for what effectively is old technology that they're actually putting on those drones. I don't get why more people aren't scratching their heads, kind of going, "The hell is up with this?"
Okay.
Seriously.
Yeah, but Rod, the drone community is dying for multiple reasons. The biggest one is there's no wow factor anymore. You guys remember when y'all first got started, how much of a wow factor drones were? They were
Yeah.
introducing new things. Oh wow, that's crazy. Wow, that's gone. That's lost. We've all been watching drone footage now for 7 or 8 years. Most of us have been here a long time. Some of us were some of the original people on YouTube that started the drone thing when it came out. We've been doing it ever since. But that wow factor is gone. The only thing that wows me now today is FPV because I can always learn new moves. Gravity doesn't apply to me. So I can always push my skill set and boundaries. And
Yeah, but all right. What about for idiots like me who aren't in it for that? I'm in it for
Right,
the actual camera.
that's your problem. Now you need to get more wowed. So how do you start pushing these companies to wow you again? Stop buying their products.
I just
And,
wish.
and the
Oh, here we
reality
go.
is drones have hit.
I'll tell light. Is that
Yeah,
the
he's
Nano?
asking Rod. He's asking Rod. Did you buy an Altel light?
I haven't bought any of those, and I'll damn well tell you why I haven't bought any of those. Those do not meet my requirements for what I want for my next drone. My requirement for my next drone is not something in the drone. It's to deal with what Jim has talked about. It's about the camera, because I want to be able to film those nighttime rocket launches and fucking be able to see it well.
Yeah.
Anything that is on the Mavic 3 does not help me do that. $3,000
No.
down the toilet if I bought something like that. And the Light Plus doesn't, and the Nano Plus doesn't. So I'm not buying drones because of YouTube channel crap. I'm buying drones for specific needs of why I want to fly that drone. And I picked Autel, and I can tell you why I picked the Autel Evo 2 Pro specifically, was because Dobo was talking about geofencing and how much of a pain in the butt it was for him. And I went with the Autel instead of with the Mavic 2 Pro, simply because of geofencing. And I literally got reminded that on Christmas Day, when I could not take my fucking Air 2 off and fly after the sun come up using my Autel because it's got the 1-inch sensor, and I literally couldn't unlock the Air 2 to fly it. I don't want nothing to do with DJI because of that.
It should never be that I have to request permission to fly from China, from China,
Exactly.
to fly at my house in Florida.
Oh, see, now we're getting into Dan's world now.
That's just wrong, man. But I've always said that. I've always said, because originally, remember when AirMap came out? AirMap's maps were all wrong. They didn't conform to the FAA's 400-foot.
But I'm a lot like Jim. It's about the camera and what can I do and what kind of shot that I can get.
Rod.
Not
y'all want to keep
who makes the
bullshitting?
drone.
Y'all want to keep bullshitting?
Let me say hi to One Vision. Go ahead.
I probably need to run because I probably need to make sure I chase my daughter to bed.
I need to give my daughter a shower, but I was going to say, if y'all wanted to keep chatting, I'll go give her a shower and y'all can keep talking.
Nah,
right.
that's
I'm
all
done.
Man.
One Vision. Hey, what's up, buddy? I saw you said hi to me a while ago.
Yep. He was saying he's been in here a couple of times. No, I take that back. He wasn't earlier. Wait a minute.
But to finish that answer on lawns, the reason I got the reason I bought the 1-inch, right, was because I had the Air 2 and I wanted low light. So I knew what was out there. I knew I needed a drone that had the 1-inch sensor on it. And I'm kind of the same for what do I need next. And what I need next is about what I need to do the rockets. I may still pull the trigger on the Evolve 2. The interchangeable lenses is hands down probably better than anything that Autel or DJI is going to do. Again, it's about the camera. It's about the flexibility of what I can do with the camera, not the fucking drone that's flying the camera.
You can't say the Mavic 3 does the same thing as a Micro Four Thirds camera. You just absolutely can't. And then you just
exactly. Jim,
and look,
Jim's
you're
exactly
changing
right.
lenses.
Yeah, exactly.
Put any lens on you want.
Brian, let me go back on that comment, that no limit drone software stuff, man. Hey man, you shouldn't have to do that. That's the point that I'm trying to make from the get-go, is you shouldn't have to install that type of stuff to fly, bro. That's way out of bounds, man, of most people's intellect of what they're even going to want to slightly get involved in with their drone stuff, dude. That's almost as complicated as a lot of open source stuff, trying to install all that crap and make it work right without bricking the drone.
You can brick your drone, yeah.
So I would say that's probably not the route you want to take. It's easier just to get an open source drone now, so you don't have to worry about it later when all that stuff goes into play. What's up, One Vision?
I don't understand why the American companies that are making drones are at huge price levels. It's ridiculous. 3 times anything what DJI is charging right now.
Mm-hmm. That's true. And then you got the X9 camera too, that is still nowhere near the X9.
So, if you're not looking for something like that, but you want, you're just the casual, right? You're a point and shoot, click camera kind of person, right?
No.
Then something like the DJI is fine in that case, and would work. But that's not why I'm flying it.
Is that it, Maddie? That's it. If you don't like it, don't buy it. That's it.
Well, same here. I mean, the zipping around and doing the acrobatics is not my gig.
I'm
more
not
into
going to
the
deny it's
camera
easier
work.
for me to buy DJI. That's why I buy it. It's easier. It's
No,
simpler for
which is what Dan was saying, right?
you know. I guess that's
It's on
my
the
problem.
shelf. You can buy it.
I'm
It's on the shelf
putting
in a
all my
box
money
at
in
Best
my, I'm
Buy.
putting all my money in FPV, dude. That's it.
Oh, you're done. You're not
All
going to
my
fly
money's going
camera
to
drones
FPV
anymore.
now.
You're not going to fly camera drones
Yeah, I
anymore,
got my
Mike?
Air 2S and that's it. No, I'm not buying anymore.
So, Michael,
Wow.
Doesn't pay you back, bro. There's no payback on it.
yeah, Michael, the one thing
No.
I actually bought, of all things, I bought a little Tiny Hawk 3.
I'm happy
And-
with the Air 2S.
And the reason I bought the Tiny Hawk was something to learn, but there's a specific drone or type of drone that I have in mind that is an
Yeah.
FPV drone, which is that Pavo 60, Dan, that came out that you can put that SMO 360 camera in. But again,
Oh yeah,
it's about
top and bottom, yeah.
it's about the camera and the type of video you can shoot with the camera. Not that it's that specific drone, it's just that specific type of drone. Because I know there's a newbie has got one that is can put something like that on it as well. You know, I looked at that and I went, you know, Drone Supremacy did a freaking review on it, and I'm telling you, some of the video he did chasing that motorcycle was just freaking phenomenal. And I was
Can't
just
do
like,
that with a GPS.
right, you can't do that with a GPS drone. And it's like, you know, I'd love to have an FPV drone that I use more. Cinematic FPV, I guess, is what most of them call it, not the sort of flippy floppy stuff. And I'm like, that's actually not a bad idea. There's some really cool things you could do. I mean, you know, I live next to the ocean. Take an FPV drone 5 feet up and fly it down the waves. You know, going 100 miles an hour creates an interesting video.
Rod, you're still cutting yourself short, man. You can take any FPV drone and put a gimbal on it in a rig system, dude.
Yeah,
There's nothing stopping you. You want GPS, you can add GPS. I mean, you can make it fly just
You
like
can make you can make it hover too.
I'm with you.
No,
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Nothing stops you. So I see really relatively in my mind no reason for GPS unless you're doing like specific aerial shots and real estate and, you know, well, in Jim's case, if you were doing something like line inspection, stuff like that, obviously nobody wants to trigger a FPV drone down the middle of a line going a mile per hour checking the lines. Site scan software, Jim's efficient in that. Polygram builds. There's just a whole.
It's for the point and shoot camera audience in the camera world. It's for those types of users.
But most FPV drones at this point can take any installation you want to give them and do the same thing. Are you saying goodbye, Bill?
No. I was because Rod was saying it's for the point and shoot, and I was like, I'm one of those.
But am I wrong, Bill? It's really, you know, the camera is really, drones are really kind of for that audience.
Yeah.
Off the shelf.
If you guys are already building 5 and
whatever.
7-inch FPV drones,
oh yeah, bigger.
Why aren't you building the bigger ones that can handle the camera?
They are. There's a
dude, I would buy it. I would buy it,
dude. We run Beast class, dude. They have motors on them that are this big. I've seen cans bigger than solo cups.
I've seen them. I saw them at CES.
Dude, we run Beast.
Yeah, I'm not there yet.
Totally different world. I've flown a Beast class. It is insane.
And then, you know, just a shout out to Marcus, Idaho Codcopters, right? You know, one of the comments that he makes a lot, and several other people in the community do as well, and this is something that the community really needs to probably put on the front of our minds, which
Stop being fake. Oh, sorry.
No, fly what you got.
Oh,
you know, as he says, you know, why does he need you know, he flies at the canyon at 12 noon with the sun over top of his head. What does it make any difference if he has a 1/2-inch sensor, you know, a 0.8 sensor, a 1-inch sensor, or a 4/3 sensor flying in those conditions? And the answer
I noticed everybody's missing the point. Everybody's getting pissed off. Dan's not saying that DJI doesn't make good shit.
Right.
He's trying to tell you all that if we continue to just follow their lead, that they're going to lead us down the path and we're just going to keep buying. And they're never really going to give us what we want.
Ever.
Don't be sheeple, right? Don't be sheeple.
Yeah, he's not trying to say that they make a shitty product. He's just saying we're not going to get exactly what we want as long as we keep buying.
I mean, there's more to it than that. Let's talk about their affiliation with the FAA. They constantly work with the FAA on everything.
Yeah.
They're the only company doing that. I would just be like,
No,
oh,
that's
no,
not true.
sorry.
Skydio is most definitely in the government's
Skydio is
back
also
pocket.
Skydio is also military
Yes.
contract now, so it's a very
Agreed.
different scenario.
All right. So are y'all going to keep talking?
I'm
We're gonna
I
jump
need to
good.
run.
All right. Well, I just wanted to
Yeah,
say
I'm good.
thank you. I was very grateful to have had everyone on. The biggest reason that I want to make sure that I had Dan on tonight was because he's the reason that I ever started live streaming in the first place. You know, and he did tell me that if I continue to try to be a true community-based channel, that my channel would never really grow. And guess what? He's right. But I'm still going to be a community-based channel. I don't really kiss a lot of ass. I'm just still kind of me.
Do you want me to emphasize on why I said that?
Huh?
Do you want me to emphasize on why I said that?
Go ahead.
I made a lot of friends over the past 8 years of doing this. Some of them have stuck with me. Some of them have gone separate ways, and I've never had an issue with that, ever. I've never had a problem with somebody branching off and doing their own thing, even if I help them get started and take off. That's awesome, dude. Kudos to you. That's what I want. I want you to do that, okay? But I noticed that the more friends I made, the more he said, she said started.
Yeah.
It's all fun and games while everybody's talking. We go to spin up and we shake hands. We talk to each other. And then you come full circle and you hear what somebody said about you. Not only did they say it, but there's a recording that they've said it. And somebody got it on camera. And you have to sit there and listen to what this dirtbag piece of said about you. And so I started realizing that big channels that actually grow, that don't give a like Dustin Danil, do it properly. They are channels that don't communicate with outside sources at all. They don't communicate with anyone. They don't have friends. They don't nothing. They're just here. They make their content. They post it. You like it. You don't. You move on with life. And that's what it is. They're not here to be buddies with everybody and be friends and wait for the backstabbing to start and all the BS. You know, if I had a second go at YouTube, I guarantee you the route I would have taken going around a second time. I've learned from it. And it may not have happened to you yet, but it will. At some point, you'll start realizing what I'm talking about. You're going to come to a few conclusions for yourself. You know, Michael, you have a huge batch of following. I had that at one time. You got people you're loving, you're hanging out with everybody. Ken, the original Dobo, everybody's friends. And then somebody says something about you that you don't like, and it comes full circle all the way back around. And then you find out they told 6 other people, and those 6 other people had a conversation about you too.
Oh, rumors fly,
all
yeah.
these little things, man. You know, and at some point you realize, hey, who's actually my friend and who's not? You know,
it comes down to YouTube-itis. It's who's going to step on whose head and who's going to really be a friend. You know, I've seen too damn many people that are willing to step on other people's fucking heads to get ahead. Or they'll get like 10 people in a little fucking chat room and they'll talk a bunch of shit in that little chat room. And then, you know, just to try to damage the channel. I've never been that way. Just going to, and my channel, ever. I've learned my lesson years ago, and I'm not that way anymore. I have fallen to that. I'm not going to lie. I have fallen to that before too.
So now,
like
Dan, I don't like it. I'll just tell you.
Back. I don't hold back. I just tell you what I think. See, just like Jim, I don't care. I'll come right on here and tell you what the fuck I think, and that's what it is. You don't like it? Don't care.
It couldn't get footing. It couldn't get footing on a bald head. That's what he's saying.
I'll just say,
Uncle Bill,
I'm just here to fly drones and take pictures and have fun and
get
get
a
little
little
relaxation from my real world. And my real world work is on the bleeding front edge of the largest companies on the freaking planet. So this is all
not like that. I take care of people, special people.
This is a lot different. So, and that's why I don't really care about the YouTube channel. I get enough big enough following in my own world to want to try to create.
I think it's clear. I don't care anymore.
Yeah. I mean, it's
very clear.
And it would be better for the community if everybody kind of had that same attitude and didn't worry about freaking being social butterflies to kind of thing.
It doesn't get
be who you are. Quit trying to be somebody fake.
Somebody fake. Yes.
Yeah. No, agree 100% with you, Dan. I hate those people.
When you help out other people, you're gonna get stabbed in the back.
I was a humble guy at one point, dude. I really was. I was super humble, dude. You get screwed enough times, you become a monster.
Yeah,
20 years in the Army, I learned to just be me.
John, you're killing me. He says, Jim, you don't like me anymore?
Well, anyway, let's all. I'm just, I'm glad to have everybody on. I just want to say Happy New Year's to everybody. Glad that so many people hung with us in the chat. We'll have to do some more of these like random, just let the shit fly video or live streams later in the future.
Somebody make
Oh.
me a big open source drone that I can buy from you.
So what are you saying, Jim? You want me to drive down there on my scooter and meet up with you, bro?
It's only 3 hours away, man. Why haven't you done
Let's meet halfway and have some fun.
it?
No, I came to you the last 2 times.
You did.
Maybe we'll just
Well,
build
you
a big
threw it
enough.
out there, so yeah, it's your turn to drive down the other way, right?
Yeah,
Maybe we'll
yeah.
just build a big enough slingshot. And we'll just put you in a slingshot and you can fly over.
And wait a minute, with a hat and a GoPro on it.
Yeah, exactly. Woo!
Did you see?
I mean, they get
we're going to get
the
off subject there. But I
the
bought
flying
that
guy
stupid
in
hat.
LA, right?
All right,
I-
all right.
Anyways,
Starting
I gotta
another
run, guys.
conversation
Thanks.
for
All
another
right.
day.
I love it. Everybody, thank you very much. Come back next week. Drone Therapy will be back. And I got to.
Oh. Bill, before you go, Scott,
Yeah.
I didn't mean anything against you when you asked my channel name. It's there. If you want to look it up, that's fine. I ask that people don't ever put I'm done with all that. That's just that subscribe stuff. I don't fucking. If
Yeah,
you
you
want to
just
find
say
me,
it's up.
that's my
Straight
name
up.
right there, bro. Feel free to look it up. It's just like it's spelled.
Or you can type in drone worship and it still comes up for that channel.
Probably still a
Look
huge
how many
algorithm for
channels
that.
have quit because of that. I mean, from 5 years ago, like Pusa Studios, guys like that, they just gave up. I mean, YouTube just makes it so impossible on your life
Because
now.
they were basing their whole existence on YouTube. It
Yeah.
wasn't like, for me, this is kind of an escape.
I warned him not to do that. We're talking about Andrew. I told
Yeah.
him not to do
Yeah.
that, and he didn't listen. That was 3 years ago.
They
It's
hammered him,
amazing
man.
how that works, isn't it?
They hammered him. They limited all his monetization, blah, blah, blah.
All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Y'all have a wonderful new year. We'll do this again
Good night,
sometime.
guys.
Thank you very much.
Happy New Year,
I'm
everybody.
going to end the show with the new trailer for next season. Peace.